So as it turns out, two more states have been added to the BJP's kitty of states. Those two states are Odisha and Andhra Pradesh. The TDP chief and the NDA ally Chandrababu Naidu has returned as chief minister in Andhra, and the BJP has managed to defeat the long-standing Biju Janata Dal in the state of Odisha. And at the same time, in the recently concluded general elections, the BJP did manage to open its account in the state of Kerala with one seat this time, and yes, 8 seats in Telangana. Meanwhile, what's happening in the Congress faction? The Congress's Rahul Gandhi is clearly in a dilemma about his 2 Lok Sabha seats, the 2 seats that he won. One is Wayanad in Kerala and the other is Rae Bareli in Uttar Pradesh. Listen to what he said.
Now, I have a dilemma in front of me. The question is, will I be Member of Parliament of Wayanad or will I be Member of Parliament of Rae Bareli? Unfortunately, like the Prime Minister, I am not guided by God. I am a human being.
That's what Rahul Gandhi has said. And after all of this, in 2026, the delimitation exercise is set to take place. How is that going to impact the BJP's fortunes in the south? And yes, the north-south relations in the country as well. Let's discuss this. And to do so, Karan Verma joins me. He's, of course, the author and political analyst who's joined us earlier on India Tonight. Along with him, political commentator Sanjeev Srivastava and advocate Kapil Madan. Thanks, gentlemen, for joining us on India Tonight. You know, in Andhra Pradesh, Chandrababu Naidu's return as chief minister with the backing of the BJP and the BJP returning to power at the centre for the 3rd term with the TDP's support among others. I want to ask you, Karan Verma, is this the most significant success of the BJP Southern push where partnerships with regional satraps helps them make bigger inroads into the southern states?
It is, Vikram, in a way. And, you know, there was this long perception that BJP is largely a cow belt party or a northern party and it doesn't have a base in South, even though even the last time around, BJP was the single largest party in South India. It had 29 out of the 129 seats. It still pretty much has the same tally. But its vote share has increased in certain states like Tamil Nadu, like Kerala. Kerala, for the first time, they have an MP. And in Andhra Pradesh, in the assembly, they have a formidable alliance which pretty much saved the day for them, if truth be told. Not only did TDP emerge as their biggest ally in the NDA, but today BJP is also in power as an ally in the Andhra Assembly. So that's a very interesting equation to have, because then your ally also is going to stand by you and it's going to be a solid partnership. That's how I see. And the Prime Minister sent that message out today. When he attended it, Amit Shah and all the top brass of the BJP was there in attendance to send out this message. Don't forget the cog in this alliance, Pawan Kalyan, is a very important one. His loyalty to the Prime Minister, his vision where he sees the Prime Minister as the ultimate leader is also to be noted, because that also renders that stability to the NDA alliance at center. All in all, I think BJP in the coming days is going to push further for its pan-south reach. BJP is one of those parties where once it gets its foot in, it actually knocks down the door and makes sure that it has a firm base there. We saw that in Odisha. We saw glimpses of that in Bengal last time around. This time they had a drubbing of sorts, but last time around they had 18 seats in West Bengal, where they started from 2 in the election before that. So BJP understands that with challenges coming up, it needs to expand its geographic footprint. Today, it is a pan-India party with strong presence in Northeast, in Odisha, in South. So I think the coming days, it's going to be further pushed from the Prime Minister and the BJP. Its cadre there has become strong. It has become mobilized. Yes, there are certain seats where they have had a greater vote share, but they couldn't quite convert it into seats. We'll probably see that coming in the coming assembly polls as well.
That analysis, Sanjeev, with this partnership going now with Chandrababu Naidu, do you think the BJP is going to further strengthen its southern hold in Telangana as well, where it has won 8 of the 17 Lok Sabha seats this time and the maximum vote share compared to any other southern state, more than 35% for the BJP?
Yes, so South India is turning out to be interesting for BJP. I quite agree with Mr. Verma's analysis. So it's whether it's a question of glass half full or half empty. See, in Karnataka, they got 29 seats from South India last time because they won a bulk of seats in Karnataka. And they had 4 seats in Telangana. And that was it. So in Telangana, they have doubled because BRS has disappeared from the scene. So it has become a bipolar contest between Congress and BJP in Telangana. In Andhra Pradesh, I think it's completely, it won't be exaggeration to say that it's completely a function of getting into the right alliance and stitching the right alliance. So whether now going forward, that is really setting the cat amongst the pigeons, whether Pawan Kalyan can be BJP's Annamalai in Andhra Pradesh. That's a very long shot. He may like to retain his independence. We don't really know what future holds. So Kerala is the one gain where they have got 1 seat. Tamil Nadu, they have increased vote share. But it's basically, again, when we talk about Bengal, last time they flattered to deceive, they got 18. They were expecting about in mid-20s this time, got reduced to early teens or just 12. So these things can change. What has happened this time in South India may not happen the next time. Maybe they again do very well in Karnataka and that's it. Or Telangana, they may improve their tally, but Karnataka may remain the same and rest of the states just remain the same if the alliances fritter away. So there are just so many balloons or balls up in the air that it's very difficult to predict into future what will happen. Yes, Tamil Nadu, they have made an entry, they have made inroads, but one of the regional parties there, either they have to ally with them or one of the regional parties, Anna DMK or TMK, somebody has to give in like the BRS has in Telangana. So it's a good beginning, but to say that it will make a very severe dent or a big push in the next election, I will wait and reserve my comment on that. Let's see how things unfold. But it's definitely a good beginning, much better than what it was in 2019 and 14 in terms of a pan-South India presence. And as far as delimitation is concerned, now I think that the government so closely working with TDP, I won't say dependent on this or that. The delimitation exercise may not lead to so many fireworks as the BJP would have liked earlier if they had got a full majority and things would have been different post 2024 verdict. Now with this kind of a verdict, even the delimitation has its own limits going forward.
Delimitations, you think, has its own limits that would work in the BJP's favor, you think. Kapil Madan, do weigh in on this. Sanjeev did bring up Karnataka. What explains to you the BJP's this kind of triumphant win of 17 Lok Sabha seats this time after they got trounced in the assembly elections by the Congress? How much promise does Karnataka hold for the BJP to push its southern agenda, to push it ahead? Because it seems like a strategy, and even Sanjeev is saying that it's a pan-South India presence now for the BJP, the kind of push that we've seen come through. It was a strategy and it seems to be paying off. Would you agree, seeing what we have in Karnataka as well?
Would begin by saying that BJP is nameless and faceless insofar as South is concerned. Yes, you have picked up Karnataka. Karnataka, if you compare it with the performance that they had, you are saying that they got 17 seats, but you're not letting your viewers know that there are 8 less seats. In the previous election, they had more than 17, that there is a loss of 8 seats insofar as Karnataka is concerned. So you must give credit to the opposition insofar as Karnataka is concerned. And let me share a few numbers with you. In Tamil Nadu, what is, how many seats they got? 0. In Kerala, how many seats they got? 0. In, they had negligible vote share in Tamil Nadu. They had about 16% vote share in Kerala. In Karnataka, they've lost 18 seats if you compare it with the previous number they had. So I don't know whether the BJP is lost in space or they've lost in time, because they are still, trying to pat their own back.
Madan, very significantly, you said Kerala is 0, but Kerala is 1. They've opened their account over there. And what they've done is they've ensured that the representation that Kerala has for the BJP gets represented in the Union Council of Ministers as a tourism minister. That is significant, wouldn't you say?
So Vikram, I stand corrected insofar as that is concerned, but please do, correct me if I'm wrong, because my information says, they have a vote share of about 16% in Kerala. So I think if, BJP opens their account and in a test match, in a
Yes.
big match, someone scoring 1
Yes.
after a 0, you may pat their back because you are comparing them with 0.
Right.
And they have been at 0 for a very long period of time.
Right.
But at the same time, if you will look at it in the entire scheme of things, and if the BJP wants to pat their own back, and if they want to go into the celebration mode insofar as Kerala is concerned after
Yes.
bagging 1 seat, then I think they are living in a fantasy world. That's point number 1.
This is a low base effect.
Let
Yes.
me also briefly talk about North. Now, BJP, we all saw how dismally they have performed in Punjab. We saw how dismally they have performed in UP. So I think more or less, because since we are talking about this NDA coalition, I do not recall, Vikram, in the entire Modi 2.0, when did the Modi government announce NDA meetings until and unless India alliance was formed? Because as far as I recall, NDA announced their meeting only after the India alliance was forged and India alliance started to have their meeting. Before that, the Honorable Prime Minister used to say, "Ek akela sab pe bhari." So
Right.
the fact that you want to take credit of everything, what is happening in the country, if you
Yes.
are winning election, if you want to pat your own back, then I think, if you're losing elections,
But-
you must weigh in the same yardstick and take accountability that you've lost.
Right. So that accountability, that kind of stance, that hasn't changed. But in terms of the pivot in managing allies, that remains to be seen. Of course, like we've been saying, Mr. Modi doesn't have experience in managing a coalition, and that is going to be put to test. But on the other side, Mr. Verma, how does a resurgent Congress look to you in comparison to the BJP in the southern states? You have a case right now where Rahul Gandhi has to choose. He's got to choose between the two constituencies he's won, and those are Wayanad and Rae Bareli. And while he says that he has a decision that will keep both sides happy, there is a thought that this delimitation that Sanjeev was talking about as well, that it will take place after the next census that was postponed because of COVID, that would determine his choice. But what do you make of the Congress's hold right now in the southern states like Kerala in comparison with what we've seen of the BJP? Because clearly Mr. Madan is not convinced that the BJP has reason to celebrate.
Okay, so let me just give it some perspective, what my good friend Kapil just said. Telangana and Karnataka, the Congress has won both these states massively in the recently concluded elections, Telangana also and Karnataka. So by all standards, if there was a wave of anti-incumbency, these two states should have actually come to the fore and made sure that they restrict BJP. Contrary to this, what the BJP did is it ended up winning 19 out of the 28 seats, the NDA alliance in Karnataka. 19 out of 28. I mean, they just lose the assembly elections barely a year back and they bounce back to get 19 out of 28. Similarly, in Telangana, they were nowhere in the picture in the assembly elections. It was a direct fight between Congress and BRS. But here also, they've managed to get as many seats as the Congress in Telangana. So it is a face, I would say it's a cake on the face of the Congress, because had they resisted well here, their tally would have gone even up. They've got results from places they didn't expect, the North. The South, they were supposed to guard. Those were the areas where they are traditionally strong. They have their governments in those two states. Rahul Gandhi's Bharat Jodo Yatra has largely passed through these states, and still BJP has managed to get numbers which are far more than their expectations here. So that is the real story of the South as far as NDA's tally in South is concerned. Yes, he's right. In Tamil Nadu and Kerala, they still have a very long way to go. But then they've actually 3 times their vote share in Kerala. I think now it's 3 times of what it was. In Tamil Nadu also, we have a similar picture. So yes, these are humble beginnings, but they have a long way to go. Don't forget, Mr. Modi, he has had 13 South ministers in his cabinet this time around. 13 South ministers, that's a huge push. 2 MOS from Kerala. So he is keeping his plans for the South in his mind. That's showing up in every action of his. And the Kashi Tamil Sangam and so many other initiatives that he's taking. So they are looking to consolidate. They are looking to expand. It's a good start from them. That can't be denied. If only the Congress had held the South the way they were expected to, they could have probably been in a much better position than what they are right now. So that's the key takeaway from South as far as India is concerned.
Well, Sanjeev, if optics were anything to go by, then the Prime Minister meditating at the Vivekananda Mutt as well. Now, that in itself said a story about how much the BJP wants to kind of get its action in the south going. Specifically about Kerala, though, that one lone seat we were talking about, and the tourism portfolio going to the winner. This is the BJP's best ever parliamentary election result in Kerala. Notwithstanding what Mr. Madan is pointing out, it did win that first ever Lok Sabha seat in the state, and actor Suresh Gopi, the winner from Thrissur, he's been rewarded with the tourism portfolio and the party's vote share. Mr. Madan has correctly pointed out, it has gone up 16.5% odd. It was 13%. Do tell me, Sanjeev, in your opinion, what is this board for Kerala's assembly elections?
See, I'll beg to differ a little.
Yes.
My first answer should not be interpreted as saying that I am saying that BJP has made a huge push. I said the BJP has more or less retained its 19 tally and done well in terms of vote share in Tamil Nadu and opened its account in Kerala. But see, like in the stock markets, politics also discounts the present and I think looks ahead at the future possibilities. Now, in this election, when we were covering Telangana and Karnataka during last year's assembly elections, we were meeting a lot of people on the ground, hearing a lot of voices that in the state we are voting for Congress, but in the parliament election, we'll go for Mr. Modi. Now, why was such a simple choice in this 2024 election? Because very honestly and practically speaking, nobody was taking Rahul Gandhi as a prime ministerial candidate or a credible or a serious contender for the post in this election, because it was by and large the narrative was that BJP is winning easy and BJP is sweeping through. Come 2029, if the elections are on time and if not earlier, Rahul Gandhi would be seen as a serious contender for the prime minister's post. And at that time, and I'm not saying it will happen that way, I'm just saying that you look at the possibility, then the entire south of India would actually be then comparing Mr. Modi and Mr. Rahul Gandhi. This time there was no comparison. They had one strong face for the center and it was Modi, and they opted for it wherever they opted for it. Rest of the places, they rejected it. Next time around, it may be a different ball game altogether. So don't discount that, number one. And the other point which you were talking about, delimitation. I was saying that delimitation may now not be very easy for the BJP, considering the new sensitivities and considering the fact that they have a major ally in South India. So if the North-South divide, if there are big gap or a big change in the current alignment of Lok Sabha, that may not go down very well. So I don't think there'll be very serious change in delimitation in terms of balance of power between North and South. And the third thing which you were referring to.
Yes. No, absolutely. And I want to take that across to Kapil Madan as well. Okay. This entire rhetoric, Kapil Madan, that we've heard about in the election campaigning, the rhetoric, the North-South divide, how is that likely to go from here? Is that going to get amplified in the assembly elections, you think? And who stands to gain with what this delimitation brings in, the kind of debate around the taxes that the southern states can pull? How is that entire exercise likely to play out according to you?
Well, I think, BJP have a very choppy waters ahead insofar as South is concerned, because people in the South have always rejected the politics of polarization, the main plank of BJP, and surprisingly this time around, the BJP's polarization to some extent hasn't worked. People have got to know that yes, there are issues. The issues are what are our constitutional moralities, and what are if the BJP wants to change the constitution, that was agenda number one. People voted on the points of issues that matter to them, like price rise, inflation, petrol prices, unemployment. I think people, especially from the north, have found logic with the communication of the opposition that yes, on the issues on which the people should be voting, BJP has failed miserably, and we have seen the results, especially from UP. It's a clear indication that the polarization plank has not worked. If you look at the speeches made by the Honorable Prime Minister, in first phase, second phase, third phase, he has made very, very controversial remarks. I don't want to name it, once again here. I don't want to cite it here. But I think at this time, people have rejected, and people in the South had been rejecting it continuously. And if this is the same agenda, or this is the same rhetoric or a political plank that they will come back,
But maybe that plank won't work. Will some other plank? They might pivot on how the southern states are.
I don't know, because BJP has been thriving high on polarization since last 10 years. Let me give you another very important statistics. Our honorable Prime Minister talks very highly, and in fact, entire BJP talks very highly that they are giving 80 crores people free ration. I think that shows the entire picture of the country, that 80,000 people are dependent, and you are proudly talking that we are giving free ration to people, rather than you should be talking
so you think
about
that
what
kind?
Are we,
Yes. So you're thinking that kind of push in talking to the electorate doesn't quite work for the BJP, and certainly not in the South. But one would have to concede, and Karan Verma, do talk to me about this. What turned out as a dramatic loss of ground in Uttar Pradesh, that seems to have been offset, at least to some extent, by the gains that the BJP has made in the South, and also, yes, in the East. Not just Bihar, where there was a good sweep, but look at what happened in Odisha. After 24 years of Naveen Patnaik in the Chief Minister's seat, looking quite invincible and close to a record-breaking stint as Chief Minister, the BJP has come out to break that course and install Charan Maji as the first BJP Chief Minister of Odisha, a tribal leader. There have been reversals in traditional strongholds, yes. What explains to you the BJP's rise in Odisha, and can it solidify further in the assembly elections in Jharkhand by wooing the tribal voter?
Absolutely. First I have to reply to my friend Kapil. He said polarization happened. It did happen. It happened along caste lines in this election. And that's the sad part of it. It happened along caste lines, and now there is corroborative data to suggest that. He again mentioned that propaganda did work. It did work. The propaganda that BJP, if they get 350 plus seats, they'll change the constitution. It did work. Because in the SC reserved seats, BJP has had a drubbing in Uttar Pradesh. Last time around, there were 17 reserved seats where BJP won 14. This time it's 8. Now CSDS data tells us that 7 to 8% of the Dalit vote overall in the country shifted from the BJP. So yes, polarization has worked along caste lines, and the Congress has succeeded in this propaganda. But I'll tell you one thing, which Sanjeev ji also said, that narratives change. BJP, do not discount the ability of the BJP to course correct. You remember back in 2017, in the Gujarat elections, Congress was within sniffing distance of the BJP. 5 years later, BJP routed them, and BJP came to a historic mandate of 156 out of 182 seats in Gujarat. So BJP has taken its notes. Let's understand this. There is one party that is celebrating, which has not even touched the 3-digit mark, and another party, which is at its third best performance and has still formed the government, is introspecting. And it is because of this series of introspection today that we see what's happened in Odisha. How they've grown in Odisha. I mean, a place where Biju Janata Dal was absolutely invincible. BJP built a narrative, and BJP has become, I would say, a special utility vehicle for all castes. It used to be a Brahmin Baniya party, as some had tried to say. From there, it expanded. It became the de facto party of the OBCs. Now we are seeing tribals. What happened in Chhattisgarh? Nobody thought BJP would come to power in Chhattisgarh, but the tribals voted heavily for the BJP. We're seeing another push here in Odisha, and I think the BJP is expanding its footprint not just geographically, but also class-wise, caste-wise.
Right.
So, BJP is going to take its lessons very quickly. And now even if they lose states from anti-incumbency in a few states, they're building their cadre and they're getting strong across the country.
So what you're indicating is that a regional pivot where the BJP is concerned has been seen in evidence and paying off good numbers for them in different elections, and perhaps that's something we can expect in the assembly elections, and that hold that they have kind of been able to get in the southern states, that might solidify. We will have to keep watching that situation. As of now, this is where the political situation stands. We're watching it very closely, and with your help, we'll keep decoding it for our viewers. Karan Verma, Sanjeev Srivastava, Kapil Madan, thank you indeed for joining us with your perspective on India tonight. Always a pleasure having you on the show.
If you like this video, then like, share and subscribe to ET Now.